Hello again. This is Nathan Rackley, and I am joined by Jenn Myers and Ben Girven. And now we're going to be doing our Sketch, Ink, and Repeat Episode 2, Pseudo-Random Characters. So we're going to be doing the sort of the random character challenge. Jenn is shaking her head. Why are you shaking your head, Jenn?
Oh, you guys know why.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're dirty cheaters.
So what you guys don't know is that these two guys were like, oh, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. No, wait, let's try it again. I don't like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it kept giving like the same character over and over again. It was like, it's a man, like over and over and over again. It gave like 10 of them. We're like, eh.
Those are the rules, man. Those are the rules.
I know.
Without rules, there's anarchy.
Well, okay, so it's pseudo-random today. Don't think that you guys aren't going to do the same thing at home sometimes. Okay, so my character is going to be a horrified robot archer. That's what I sort of got / picked from the list. And Ben, what is yours?
A female hobbit halfling who is a space cab driver who may be postal.
And Jenn, which one's yours?
I got the Mel droid who may be a sad teenager.
So it's an emo droid.
That's my plan. That's my plan.
Nice. All right, so same thing as always. Feel free to, if you're watching this live or even afterwards, feel free to leave questions. We'll do our best to answer. If you're leaving them while we're streaming, we'll try to answer them during the stream. If not, we'll do our best to respond to you guys as soon as possible. Same thing, hashtag pen and stylus on Twitter. Feel free to send us questions, and we will do our best to answer those questions. And feel free to participate from home.
Yeah, if you wanna jump in, you can get to the random character generator that we're using, and we need to move this over to our website eventually. But for now, it's trying to get to it. It's random random .girven girven.org. I'll try and write it out here.
Yeah, and if you do a random character challenge, don't forget to join our DeviantArt group and post. It's penandstylus.deviantart.com. Don't forget to join there and post your artwork. Also, on Twitter, you can just tweet it to us at hashtag penandstylus. And if you do, there's a strong chance, if we like your piece, we will feature it in an upcoming episode. Now, real quick, just going and doing sort of the features from last week. We didn't really have any participants from the internet come and share stuff with us yet, but then again, this is the second episode, so.
Well, yeah.
But
actually, did everybody finish their piece? Or do you want to put up what we did last time?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna show mine at least,
okay.
And then I'm gonna bring up. I haven't officially posted it to DeviantArt yet, but yours is posted, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah, I just posted it up today.
So bringing this down. All right.
I lost it on my hard drive.
Oh no. So this is Ben's from last time, which is a classic monster who is an irritated barbarian. He's kind of got a Conan Barbarian / William Wallace look going, which is kind of cool. Mine was an Elven Scavenger. This is just in DeviantArt Stash. I haven't posted this yet, but it was kind of like a apocalyptic elf, I guess, was my theme. And then Jenn, do you have yours from last time to show, or we can?
Yes, sir.
I've been wanting to see this one again.
Let me switch cameras so people can see it. All right, so that's the Alien Brigand. Looks a lot like Fabio.
No, not just the Alien Brigand. It's the Alien Brigand. A love story.
A love story. Looks like Fabio.
That was the goal, yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so we'll just be we're planning on this episode being approximately an hour long, or at least that's what we're going to be aiming for. So we'll see how far we get in an hour.
Yeah.
In the comments, can you go ahead and put a link to the random generator?
That is a great idea.
That's an awesome idea. Hold
on.
Yeah.
Why didn't we think of that earlier?
Yeah, we should totally. Yeah.
which it really does seem heavily stacked with hobbits and robots. And
we might need to go in and take a look at the list. What is generating from?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll be aiming for about an hour of draw time. And so we'll just be, this is kind of this is like the real casual portion of the show. I mean, not like it wasn't casual before, but we'll be drawing people. Feel free to ask questions, and we will do our best to field any questions while we're illustrating. I'm going to be working in Manga Studio. What are you going to be working in, Jen?
I'm going to keep trying to use the Sketchbook Pro just because we started it last episode, and I'm wanting to mess with it.
Cool.
All right, and Ben, which one are you going to use? Are you going to be using Sketchbook Pro?
I'm going to start there. I'll probably do my doodles and Sketchbook and then move on to probably Illustrator or possibly Manga Studio. I'm not sure yet.
Your camera's bouncing around, buddy.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. You know what? It is. I realize it's not. Yeah. I have to fix that, but that's for another time.
All right, so cool. So anyways, we'll go ahead and do that, and I'll be doing my best to switch between people's camera views while we do this. The auto switch feature that we're doing these broadcasts through Hangouts on Air, and the auto switch feature isn't, it just switches to whoever's making the most noise, which I want to make sure that we're switching to people who have the most interesting illustrations. So we will start out with it on Ben, and then we'll move it around. All right, so
Jen's ahead
of me. Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's already rocking and rolling.
Holy cow, she's already done. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Man, we got an hour. We don't have time to waste.
She's like, I'm finished.
And we're off.
And they're off. Running down the track. We've got Girven in the lead. Oh, wait, no, he's been overtaken by Myers. Rackley's in a slow trail behind, as always. Okay.
I think you should do that voice more often.
Absolutely.
The announcer.
He's moving up ahead, folks.
Yeah. Excuse me. I apologize for my cough. Goodness. I've had this cough. It's allergies. I confirmed it is allergies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I started taking I normally don't take allergy medication because it makes me drowsy.
Yeah.
But I just decided, okay, fine, I'm going to go ahead and take some. And the allergy medication got rid of the cough, but then I was just drowsy.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a nasty trade-off, but so I think I'm inspired by Jenn, and I might actually start by painting. I haven't used the Manga Studio paint engine, so I should other than the watercolors. So I think that I'm going to try their oil paints. See how that works.
Cool.
Nice.
Because I've never used it. So let's see. Default oil paint brush. Brush size bigger. Okay, and if I'm doing that, then I want it in color. And I'm actually going to try painting in color this time instead of doing black and white.
Oh, cool.
Make it a challenge. Let's see, dark tones. No.
That's interesting. Irvy's asking if it's more fun to draw in a unique style or an established one, like for fan art and such.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question, Irvy. It really depends on what you're trying to do. It is important to develop your own unique style if you're trying to market yourself as an individual artist. Like if you're a cartoonist or an illustrator and you are writing your own books, for example, if you're writing your own books and you want to produce stuff that people will read, a unique style is important. But it is also very important to be able to draw in other people's styles, especially if you're getting a job working for some sort of company, like an animation company. You have to be able to imitate other people's art styles because you're working on a team with other artists, and that's very, very important. Like for example, illustrating realistic stuff. I've heard tons and tons of people say, "Oh, I don't need to draw realistically because all I ever draw is cartoons." It's like, no. You need to learn how to draw things that are real, that look real, because that translates into being a better cartoonist. It's just trust me, it does. And Ben's off. He's drawing a postal hobbit. But yeah, good question though. I do enjoy drawing in my own style a lot. Doing my own illustrations, like I have built up a style over time. I really wasn't intending on building my own style. I was really just trying to learn how to draw like real things, but it became my own style through time. But I also, when I did go to art school, I had to learn to kind of throw a lot of my own style away and learn how to draw things as they look, which actually ended up doing me a lot of good. And now I don't mind drawing stuff in realistic styles, and a good exercise is trying to draw things the way other people draw them, because that's how you pick up new techniques.
Yeah.
I mean, I've really found that imitating people's styles is one of the best ways to pick up new techniques. That's why producing fan art isn't necessarily a bad thing. Selling fan art is debatable. You know, that's a debate of, or that's a topic of hot debate. Now, you know, admittedly, I do buy fan art too. I buy fan art from artists that I like. Because I like the IP and I like their stuff, but I also try to buy original art as well at the same time to support artists. But, you know, fan art is where the money's at a lot of times for a lot of people.
Yeah, unfortunately, it can be a way to make you know, these shows and stuff profitable.
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion on that, Ben?
Yeah. Do I want to share it?
Well, I mean, it's an area of, like I said, it's an area of hot debate because, you know, if you're trying to create and sell your own original IP, seeing the people that produce fan art specifically so that they can milk the market can get a little frustrating. I mean, at the Albuquerque Comic Expo this last year, and I'm not actually going to name the group, their table, because you know, I don't want to say, you know, don't buy their stuff. I mean, you can buy whatever you want. But across from my table, you know, on our table we had all original, or we tried to have as much original IP as possible at our table. For our table's SRB Studios. It's the art studio that my brothers and I run. But there were people at a table across from us that ended up selling. They were selling prints. They weren't even selling original art. It was all prints. They were 5x7s framed, and they were little like chibi fan art characters, and it was all fan art. All the art they had posted for their table was fan art, and they were charging it was something like $30 a picture for these little framed pictures, and the frames were like the kind of frame you could probably get at the dollar store. Yeah. And the actual I mean, now don't get me wrong, the illustrations were adorable, and you know, and that's great, but they had this table that was exclusively fan art. There was no original art, and they were selling like crazy. Mm-hmm. And you know, and of course, you know, people buy, in defense of the buyers, you know, people buy characters they're familiar with. If they don't know who your character is, now of course it's, you know, people usually don't want to take a risk on a character that they've never seen before. But it was, you know, it did get a little frustrating for a lot of us that were trying to sell original art around that table, because everybody showed up, went to that table to buy stuff, and then they spent all of their available cash, and so then they wouldn't buy anything at any other table.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
and that happens con after con, you know, every single time. I mean,
yeah,
it's, you know, it's kind of just sort of, I don't know, I mean, I hate to say it's the way of things, but it's kind of the way that, you know, that kind of stuff is sort of, I don't know. You know, and that's it. I mean, you know, generally speaking, comic book conventions are not for independent artists. They're not. I mean,
no, they're not.
You know, they're
people don't go there to see indie.
No, they don't. And you know, not saying everybody. We're generalizing, of course. I mean, some people do,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, obviously those people are, you know, greatly appreciated. But you know, generally speaking, you know, comic book conventions are kind of, you know,
they're a
indie.
mainstream thing, yeah.
Well, they're kind of indie non-friendly. I mean,
yeah.
And you know, there are some people that do well there. I mean, I'm always constantly impressed at how well, you know, you and John are doing, Jen. Kind of, you know, kind of built your little niche out and been able to kind of make that sort of work for you guys, and that's awesome. In fact, you know, in a lot of ways, that's something I really kind of, you know, respect and look up to, because, you know, you guys did it. You're doing the hardest thing, which is trying to sell something that people don't know, and you know, making a go of it, and actually, you know, making it work.
Oh man, we had the craziest thing happen, Ben. The rail yards, and this family, they were kind of looking at our comics, and the mom was kind of quizzing me as to whether or not they were kid friendly. And her son is all like, "Oh yeah, I have this one," and he like pointed at the book. And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome."
That's cool. And kids are the best at comic conventions. It's really awesome to see how excited they get when you have like a character they know.
Yeah.
Or if they recognize your stuff. That's the coolest thing, is when you're at a convention and people actually like see your work and they recognize it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I read your comic." And it's like, "Oh, awesome." All right, so let's see here. Wiley asks, who has been your biggest inspiration as an artist? I think that's probably a general question to everybody.
That sounds like a show, man.
I know, that's almost a show topic right there. Thanks, Wiley. You just gave us one of our next show. No, I mean, just in a nutshell. I mean, I try to pull inspiration from everywhere, and we'll just switch back to Jen because her stuff's way more interesting than mine. Yeah, it is. But like I find a lot of inspiration just from working with other people and talking with other artists. Like, you know, I find inspiration just through browsing art and interacting with artists and seeing how seeing people interested in my stuff or being enthusiastic about the stuff I produce makes me enthusiastic about the stuff I produce.
Oh yeah,
I don't know, it's weird.
Well, that makes sense. Jen?
That's a tough one. You know, when you say the biggest inspiration, I mean, I don't know. That's a hard one.
Can of worms right there.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, I learned to draw by copying all those Jim Davis Garfield characters, and then
really?
I know, right? And then
I would never have known. And
then I discovered ElfQuest, which was kind of amazing.
Oh yeah.
And, but I mean, like, my style, I think I pull a lot from Bill Watterson.
Yeah.
I can see a little bit of a Watterson influence in your stuff,
Yeah.
Jen. Trying to do kind of a foresty background. I'm like actually doing a painting foundation, which is kind of crazy. I'm like, foundations.
Cool.
What's a good cool color? Purple, right? Yeah.
I think most of my inspirations go back to just, you know, comic book stuff. You know, usually stuff I grew up with. Art Adams, Mike Mignola, Jim Lee. I always kind of joke, but it's really kind of true. Is Jim Lee, taught me anatomy, which is good and bad. But I mean, I learned comic book anatomy from watching, or maybe not just watching, but drawing and trying to emulate what he was doing. I think when a guy named Joe Mad came on the scene, he was a big influence for me. Partly because he just did this really, kind of manga-inspired, a lot of energy, a lot of, fun, a lot of dynamic, stuff that I really hadn't seen done much in the traditional comics that I had, read as a kid. And then later on, like Travis Charest, he's kind of one of my comic book idols, I guess. He did a run on Wildcats way back in the day. And Joshua Middleton recently. Oh god, that guy's stupid good. Has got just some of the most beautiful line work I've ever seen. And then just meeting. For me, it was always a lot of outside because I didn't go to conventions, I didn't see anybody. So in the last couple of years, as I've been able to kind of get out there and see other people and other artists. I mean, like honestly, like Nathan and you, Jenn. I mean, just kind of getting to see other people's stuff and seeing what they're doing and kind of getting inspired by just kind of like local artists as well. I mean, that's been kind of a new kind of a thing for me in the last couple of years as well.
I know that I've been really grateful that I did finally take the initiative upon me to try and meet up with other local artists. It has been such a tremendous help just in both motivation as well as just kind of like just the interaction, the support that you get from working with or talking to other local artists. It's just huge.
Well, I didn't realize that we were out there. I mean,
I
honestly,
know. I
spent so long doing this by myself. I thought I was like the only one, and I'm sure other people can say that, but I mean, it just at some point I was like, oh my gosh, there are other actual people trying to do this thing that I do too, and that was kind of such an amazing kind of discovery. And then to actually kind of get to sort of befriend them and join groups with them and kind of interact with them and learn and just kind of sort of grow and try different things and have kind of other people around. That was pretty awesome. I mean, that was something that was really missing in my life if for a very long time. I mean, I didn't realize it, but it was. I mean.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for having, kind of an artistic support group that can help you, that can give you feedback, and also that builds you up. That's a big one. Don't go constantly throwing your artwork at people if they're not interested in it or if they're not gonna like give you decent feedback on it.
Yeah.
I think is important. But just the interaction that you get from working with other artists and talking to other artists is just awesome. And I'm so grateful for it. Okay. So I wonder if I should start drawing my character at some point. If I should just keep doing backgrounds and trees.
Happy little trees.
I know my trees from that for some of the other stuff that I'm doing. I was insane and I decided to draw lots and lots of trees. For those that are on that chat with me on Skype, they will know that I tortured myself with trees recently, prepping my new graphic novel that's coming out. I drew so many trees. I inked so many trees, and That's one of the okay. There are a lot of advantages to doing art digitally. One of the disadvantages is the fact that like a lot of times you can zoom in way further than is practical. And so I was just like fully zoomed in, and I was like, I've got all these trees to ink, so I ink all of them. Then I zoom out, and I'm like, oh, if I print this, that's like a dot in the background. It's gonna like render out as a pixel, but it's a full tree that I inked.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm crazy.
Well, I wasn't gonna say it, but
you weren't gonna say it.
No, that piece actually did turn out that's a really nice looking page.
Thanks. Yeah, you saw me when I first started sketching it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was. Actually, I think when I started sketching that was when we decided to start doing these live streams.
Yeah.
I think that was that. Because what we'd done is we were actually just getting together and doing like this random character thing just on our own, and then we're like, hey, maybe we should stream this and share it with other people and let other people participate. So yeah, so if you guys want to participate from home, feel free to do so. Okay, so John's actually on. Hey Jen, your husband's on.
Hey John.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys just noticed that?
Well, no, not well. I'm sorry. I look up and it's like, oh, John. Yeah. Hey, John. Yeah. You guys. Okay. So you guys actually tried selling fan art, Jen?
No, he's making fun of the fact that that he's commenting on his drawing skills.
Oh. Okay. For those of you who don't know, John is predominantly a writer.
And by writer, he's a typist, because his handwriting is terrible.
Says his wife.
Well, it is.
Just trying to be fair, huh? I'm just
yeah, it is what it is, you know.
Okay. Let's see. These tools be interesting. Kind of feels more like acrylic than oil. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. I guess it feels kind of like oil. Yeah, this is the first time I've used the oil paint engine in Manga Studio, so. Yeah. I think that I'm about done doing background. Yeah, I'm awful. I'm like, yeah, I'll just. There you go. Yeah, I'm trying to teach myself how to do better backgrounds, which is one of the reasons that I've kind of been going crazy with the backgrounds on my Minions graphic novel while I've been working on it.
Yeah.
Which we'll start publishing this month, I promise. For those people who've been waiting patiently, it will start publishing online as a webcomic this month. Guaranteed. Yeah, I know the website, the original announcement said that it was going to be August, and I know that I did not meet the August deadline for it. But there are reasons for that, because I want to make it a better graphic novel for all of you.
And we appreciate it.
Yeah. And Ben, you were looking at it before, and you were wondering, because I showed you the toned version and then the plain line art.
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
Yeah. Big debate on what.
Totally on the fence about that. I mean, I think
both
of them, obviously both of them look really good, but yeah, there's I don't know. It's kind of a tough one. I mean,
yeah, because the straight up line art reminds me a lot more of Bone.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the feel I want to go for, you know, and for those who have not, or for those who are used to reading the Scholastic colored version of Bone, the comic Bone was not originally in color. It was published entirely in black and white, and then later on, after it had won all sorts of awards and stuff like that, they did a color version. And so the color versions, a lot of people these days have only ever seen the color version. They've never seen the black and white version. but it was originally black and white.
Yeah, and it's almost a shame because it's such a great.
It's gorgeous.
You know, you kind of lose some of it when you. It's kind of the colored version is amazing. It really, truly is. But like I remember getting Bone like when it first came out in early '90s.
Yeah, that was when it was released in issues.
I just remember, just thumbing through that book and just being kind of like just blown away at how. I don't know, just how kind of beautiful it was.
How intricate he could make just these illustrations, just in black and white, just as inks. It was so gorgeous.
Well, and I might have mentioned this even last time. I mean, it was a couple of years ago where I got the big collected, and I still have the big collected black and white version.
Did we finally get that back to you?
Oh, I guess I don't have it.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Jenn stole it.
Yeah, but I was thumbing through looking at pages, and there was this moment where I realized I was like looking at a picture of a tree, and it was like 6 panels and like 6, it's like character on top, and this tree across the thing, and I'm just watching this, and just looking at it, and I go back and I finish reading the page, and I look at the last panel of the tree. I'm like, wait a second. That looks like the first panel of the tree. I know what he did. He copied and pasted. And I go up and look, and I'm like, no, he didn't. Every single tree is just a little bit different, and he did that for everything. I don't think that guy copy and pasted anything. I'm like, I had this like moment of horror, like, oh my God, why would you do that to yourself? You're amazing. It was nuts.
Well, it harkens to the era of moving out of the traditional. Now, one of the really cool things is that was one of the first true success stories in independent publishing. With comics.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He was,
when he got started, from, I remember right, I think he had even gotten like a preview in the back of Cerebus at some point too, and I know there's things kind of went sour there, but. It was very much the kind of the Cinderella story of independent comic books.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody had really kind of seen that kind of level of success doing independent stuff before that, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it was an all ages book. It was something that was accessible to. Me is at that time like 20 something or anyway late teens,
yeah,
almost adult, and something that a kid could appreciate as well. I mean, I thought that was just brilliant. But it never really talked down to either. It kind of spoke to both audiences really well, and I mean, the fact that later on you saw it, starting to be recognized by like Scholastic was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm not trying to rag on the color version. I actually have both. The colored version that Scholastic did. I don't think that you could have done a better color version of Bone.
Oh no! I mean, it was gorgeous. I mean, it was
absolutely beautiful.
It was really neat to finally get my hands on that and look at it, and then it was kind of, in a way, it was kind of reading the story again. Because the coloring does add something different. I mean, it doesn't add something that was missing from the original at all. I mean, I think that's an important designation. I mean, what it did was just kind of like give you
kind of enhance a little bit. It's a different perspective. It's like
well, it lets you enjoy it again for the first time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think that's maybe the best way I could put that, because because the first time I watched it, I did read the whole thing in black and white, and again, there was nothing missing. It was perfect. But the first time I read the colored version and opened up to like one of these vistas of the whole thing and saw this color. It was kind of like that moment from Wizard of Oz a little bit, just
where everything becomes color.
Yeah, it was like this magical moment of everything kind of like, oh. I don't know. It's strange, but like I said, I mean, it didn't do anything that the color didn't do by itself. I mean, that the black and white didn't do by itself. It was just an interesting, different, new take on it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so I'm liking the flowers, Jen.
Oh,
and
thank you.
He's a very sad robot. And I'll jump over to my page. So this is my blurry, my somewhat blurry trees. So that's.
Are you looking at the comments at all?
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the comments people have been chatting, which is awesome. Yeah. No problem, Wiley. By the way, yeah. And then. Awesome. Yeah, been working on. Okay, let's see. Any comments on Twitter for Penn and Stellus? No. But people have been retweeting our video. Awesome. Thanks, guys, for retweeting. Appreciate that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's see here. Now I'm actually going to start trying to paint my character. New layer! And they're off. Jenn is in the lead with an almost full-color character.
I'm sensing a trend.
She's beating the crap out of the two guys once again.
Alright, so Cowboy says, I think that's Cowboy. Says, nice coloring on the robot. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. See, a lot of these people have Google accounts. I know them from some of these commenters are friends from DeviantArt and people who've actually joined the Penn and Stylus group at DeviantArt, which, by the way, guys, thank you very much for joining. Let's see here. Okay, I need to do a horrified robot archer. I'm like just now I'm looking at my, okay, what do I need to draw again? Oh, yeah. Okay, so here. It's time for me to draw a robot.
A robot.
A robot. I've mentioned to some people before, I actually do science-y stuff as my other job, and I do some work with robots, so I joke around a lot, and I call them robots. It frustrates other professionals. They're like, stop talking about them like that.
But they're robots.
But they're robots. It's okay, he's just a robot.
They're going to take over the world.
Let's see here. So, speaking of robots, the game, whatchamacallit, Destiny came out last night.
Yeah.
And my copy of the game showed up yesterday in the mail.
Oh my god, how are you even hanging out with us?
I was just going to say that.
Because you guys are awesome, that's why. But you can play as a robot in that game. I'm totally playing a robot character. But yeah, the game looks like a lot of fun. So.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Okay, I have this forced sort of priority list that I've had to create for myself when I do stuff, and one of them is that video games have to take a lower priority than art, otherwise I'd never get any art done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I just I also understand new releases. New release.
Yeah, no. I got the Ghost edition, so it came with a ghost, which I might have to go grab and bring into here because it talks.
Okay, because I did not understand. I was reading a review about it, and I did not understand the Ghost review. So you will have to explain that to me.
The Ghost. Okay, it's an interesting game. It's a lot of. I mean, I played on the beta. Back when they had the public beta, which was a lot of fun. It was. The game is different than a lot of first-person shooters. They really tried to do kind of a multiplayer online first-person shooter. This is Bungie. This is the company that originally made Halo, so they've got a good track record, at least for developing decent games. But they developed this game to be kind of like an MMO, but a first-person shooter. And there are only a few games like that that have actually been successful. One of them is PlanetSide 2, which is free to play and absolutely insane, but it's a lot of fun. So if you guys want a game where you die in the first 15 seconds and it's like brutal but a lot of fun, I recommend PlanetSide 2. Otherwise, Destiny is one of these other ones that's trying to fill that same niche of massively multiplayer online first-person shooter. And they seem to be doing an adequate job of it. I mean, not an adequate job.
Okay, because adequate is, kind of specific there.
Yeah. The first-person shooters are hard to do. MMOs are hard to do. Well, because particularly with first-person shooters, because the amount of work it takes to have a stable server that can handle people who are playing a fast-paced game like a first-person shooter in real time is really hard. Especially the more players you support, the harder it is. And I know this because I actually wrote an MMO engine before for the university. We were doing some experiments. We had to build an engine that was for MMOs, and it was hard. I'm okay. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I'm a computer scientist by day and an illustrator by night. So, so I talk about computer stuff. Like I'm like, oh yeah, that's easy, and then people are like, what the heck are you talking about? Oh yeah, probably not so easy. Let's see. Robot Archer. I'm not going to put in his bowstring yet. So let's see here. I'm going to switch to mine real quick so I can... You're doing the Hobbit feet. I like the inking. All right, so this is kind of how I paint, just for those of you who are watching. I don't do a whole lot of digital paintings. Well, I haven't done any digital paintings in Manga Studio before like this. Most of the digital paintings I've done in Manga Studio have been just like inking, doing traditional comic book style page, and then adding the digital paint as another layer. But when I do like concept art, speed painting, stuff like that, I actually start off with, I actually try to build up the character's silhouette first, because I find that a strong silhouette really makes for strong character design. It makes them more recognizable. So I try to make sure that the angles and stuff are something that, you know, if you were to see the silhouette of the character in a multi-character shot, you'd immediately be able to tell whose character is whose. You know, who's who from a lineup. That's, you know, a sign of good character design in general. Part of why I was doing the background first on this is so that way I can get the lighting right on the actual painterly version. Now, there's no really right or wrong way to do this. This is just kind of how I do it. So I'm building up my silhouette, and what I'm going to do actually is, once I'm done building up this silhouette, I'm going to lock transparency on this guy, so that way I can paint the details inside the silhouette without going outside his outline, which will allow me to put in some pretty cool details without messing with the shapes, and it'll let me take better advantage of the shapes. All right, so switching back over to Jenn, let's take a look at what Jenn's working on. I'm liking the robot, Jenn. I do like the color scheme a lot. How are you liking the brushes and stuff in Sketchbook?
I like them quite a bit, except it seems that I like the way it fades. I like the way it kind of dies out. But man, that pink, once you get pink stuck on your brush, it is there forever. Like here's brown. Check that out. That it's going to turn pink.
I use a painting program. When I do my paintings, I usually do my paintings in a program called ArtRage, which is relatively inexpensive, and I definitely recommend people check it out. It's like a poor person's Corel Painter type alternative. And I have used that program since like version 1.1, and I love it. It's got an awesome paint engine. It's a lot more efficient processor-wise than Painter is. I might bring it up here in a minute. I think I have it installed on this machine. But that program has a little water bucket, so you can clean off your brush if it gets contaminated.
That's pretty cool.
And you can set the water to instantly like clean itself, or the water itself can get contaminated, so you start getting contamination back from the water later on.
That's pretty cool.
Which is awesome. Okay, so I'm locking transparency now, so I'm going to go ahead and start doing details. So this, just for people who care, this is the silhouette I'm going to be working with. Okay. And Ben is almost finished inking.
I'm getting there.
He is faster than Nathan, which is all we care about.
Yeah, I was super slow last week, so I'm trying to speed up a little bit.
Yeah, how are we doing on time?
Well, we started at about 9:30, 9:45-ish. So I'd say we probably have another, I'd say like 20, 25 minutes.
Cool.
I would give us. I'll give us until 10:45, which will be like an hour and 15 minutes, I think, total for this one. We're trying not to make these 2 hours, just so that way, you know, people aren't going crazy. I mean, the first time I did a live stream, though, it was like 8 hours long. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
I'm gonna try and sneak in some Diablo 3 after this.
I don't have that game yet. Any good?
I just picked it up. Yeah, it's okay.
I heard that the latest the updates to it. Yeah, we're talking about gaming now. Isn't that awesome? Artists and games. I heard that after they got rid of the marketplace, the game got a lot better.
Yeah.
Because the servers weren't always dying.
Yeah, it's well, I got it kind of with the anticipation of I'm gonna be laid up for a couple weeks, or well, a week or so. So I figured I'd have something to do.
You know, Ben, you could get an Xbox Gold account and hang out and play Borderlands.
Yeah, well.
Don't say it like that.
Well, I don't have any money to get an Xbox Gold account. It's the problem with being an artist. There's no money.
Well, there's a little bit of money. It's just.
There's money. You just need to know where to find it. I'm just kidding.
Well, you also end up spending it on other things that are more important than Xbox, accounts.
It's true.
Yeah, when you got a family to support, that's important. But yeah, no, I totally understand. Yeah, so you're actually, and we're actually doing this show a little early because of the stuff that's going to be happening with you, right, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to be. When are you going in to the doctor? Is that later this week? Is it?
Friday. Yeah, Friday. First thing Friday morning, I go in for surgery. So.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll get that problem. That I know, right? Yeah. Hopefully you can get that issue taken care of, because it sucks to be sick.
It's just gallbladder, but yeah, I haven't been drawing much because I've been just in a lot of pain most nights. So. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that taken care of as soon as possible. Get back to normal. I still have Terraformers to finish.
Which I can't wait to read.
No kidding.
Can't wait to see.
I mean, I'm sure I could bug John and he'd be like, "No, you can't read it."
Yeah.
But
I'm sure he'd let you.
But I'm just kidding, John. Let's see here. These oil paintbrushes are interesting.
Hey.
Oh, I just discovered the grayscale colors. Oh, that changes things.
Kind of making this guy like camouflage-ish. Well, not really camouflage, but more. He's a little darker.
Are you upside down, Jen?
I am.
Okay.
I'm writing in the diary, so, you know.
Gotcha. No spoilers. No spoilers!
Let's see, we got any other... Oh yeah, no spoilers. That's John on the YouTube. Sorry, John. He knows I'm messing. Hopefully.
The other thing I'm going to try and do is get caught up on Supernatural. While I'm up. Or laid up. Supernatural.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just maybe like halfway through season 2.
Oh, okay.
Way behind.
I'm Netflix current now.
Nice.
Yeah. I watched the 8 seasons they have on Netflix for that show. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, when it was actually showing up on TV, I wasn't watching it, and all my friends were. And then at the end of what was it, season 8? You know the scene I'm talking about, the very last scene.
Yeah, like, I was like, what?
Everybody just started like, yeah, no.
It's like, what? What? No, they changed up like everything. So,
yes.
I'm see, I wasn't too happy with some of the directions they took in like season 7. But
yeah.
that last episode of season 8, I gotta say, you know, they made me feel a little bit happier about the series as a whole. I felt a little bit better about some of the, you know, they did kind of, in my opinion, like damage control for some of the questionable decisions they made in the storytelling, which is debatable. I mean, it's debatable whether or not the storytelling decisions were questionable. I'm fine with what they did, and I'm not spoiling anything by saying this.
Yeah, I had a problem with certain reactions of characters to another character who I feel got kind of a bum rap, but
yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, and I was like, why would you react that way, considering the way you were? You know,
exactly,
like 2 seasons ago, you were in the same situation, and everybody was understanding. Why are you being a jerk about this?
Yeah, let's play it cool, you know.
Everyone else was really understanding and forgiving of your character, dude. So, don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk, man.
Oh, rainbow. That's interesting.
As what?
Oh, I just realized some things that I did not realize that now I realize. Now we're going to see how much the undo function works. Spoilers, not very well. Okay. I can fix this.
Let's try and give him some emotion. And Nathan's still struggling to get the face done.
I hate picking colors.
I know. My colors are. Well, that's part of why I wanted to do this one colors. Yet, I predominantly work in black and white, which is why I'm always like, oh yeah, I'll just do it in black and white because that's what I'm comfortable with. But I wanted to bust out of my comfort zone with this, which is why I'm doing non-comic painting.
I need to do a little bit more practice before I start doing a speed painting. I do want to do one.
Speed painting's fun.
I've never been comfortable with the painting tools in Photoshop.
I have a hard time getting into the mood in Photoshop with their painting tools. I mean, they added them. I think it's great they added them, but I like Photoshop for coloring. I don't really like it for painting.
Yeah.
Hey, Myers. You roaming around the house?
Let's see. Try and block out some stuff here.
What's our time like?
We got like 15 minutes. Okay. So yeah, I'll have to, like with my piece, obviously I'll have to wrap this guy up off stream. But it gives me, a nice, fun little side illustration to work on.
Yep.
Off stream. Yeah, and that's, and for those of you who are going to do this at home or who want to do this at home, and I guess look more like Optimus Prime, feel free to take your time on these pieces. Make them look good. The whole point is just to, give you a random prompt that gets you started illustrating, working on drawings, and then just kind of, see where it takes you. Be creative. That's the kind of the point, is to just give us, everybody has, a project or some sort of thing they're working on that helps them to get their creative juices flowing. And then, maybe stuff will lead into other project ideas or illustration ideas in the future for you,
Yep.
Okay, yeah, this is what I should have done in the first place. Block out these light forms.
So Nathan, you're working in Manga Studio. Ben, what are you working in?
Right now I'm in Photoshop.
I'm working in Manga Studio because this is the first. I've never tried the painting tools in this before, so I figured I'd try them. It's like, let's be crazy. And I'm using the default oil paint brushes too, for anybody who's interested in knowing what I'm using. I'm just using the default brush, default settings.
Ben?
Yeah, what? I didn't do it, I'm sorry.
Same question.
What am I using?
Yeah.
Photoshop.
Oh, did you already answer that?
I think so.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's alright. I forgot. Yeah, this is kind of my... I don't know how to paint, so I know that that's a crutch of mine, and
I don't know how to paint digitally either.
What's that?
I don't know how to paint digitally either.
Yeah, we would never know, Jen.
Good, because I am faking it as hard as I can.
Fake it until you make it. That's what they say, right?
Man, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. That's the point.
Let's block out some more color here. Give my robot some kind of a poncho, a robotic poncho, a robotic poncho. So, 24-hour comic day is coming up. Is anybody going to be participating in that or supporting that?
I don't know yet. It's going to kind of depend on how things go this this week or this next week. Which if I'm not able to do it in any capacity, I'm going to be kind of disappointed because that's such a good time last year.
That weekend in particular is, I mean, for me, this time, it is an awful weekend for me because they changed it. It used to be, it was just, sometime in October, but then recently, as of last year, they changed it so it will, from now on, 24-hour comic day will always be the first weekend in October. Mm-hmm. And that, for me, is really hard, a really difficult weekend to schedule. Here in New Mexico, we have the Balloon Fiesta going on as well at the same time. Which is
really?
Yeah, that's Balloon Fiesta weekend.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention to that.
Yeah, which for those of us who live in New Mexico, that's actually a really big deal. So.
Yeah, it means you can't drive it anywhere.
Yeah, it's hard to get around because it's an international thing where people fly hot air balloons. So.
Oh my God! It is that weekend.
It's that weekend, and so it's like and where they're holding it, at least here in Albuquerque, is across the city. For us, it's close to Bend, but it's not close to the rest of us. So.
Oh man, but I bet you the rail yards are going to be crazy good. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and that's the other problem is if you work in the rail yards like Jenn is. And Jenn, you should probably mention what the rail yards is. I don't think people know.
Oh, the rail yards is it's basically a farmer's market, except instead of like fresh fruit and vegetables, I mean you can get that, but you can get a lot more pastries, coffee, and like artisan stuff like paintings and I don't know, handmade clocks and apparently very awesome comic books.
Yeah.
That's because Jenn's comic books are for sale there. And
I think all of our comics are there.
Yeah, all of our comics are there. My Lakewood book is there.
That's right. Both of them. Your small one and your compendium.
My compendium, yeah.
Yeah.
That compendium was a lot of fun to put together. And that's not even all my Lakewood comics either. That was just a selection. That's like a fourth or a fifth of all the strips I've done in that series.
Yeah, because I was looking at it, I'm like, man, 4 years. That's no way. That's 4 years. You know?
That was the collection of all the strips actually that were published in the Daily Lobo newspaper. The New Mexico Daily Lobo. All the strips that went into that newspaper are the ones that are in the compendium. So it's kind of like the strips that I had in the paper. And part of it was because those were the ones I had print ready already.
Yeah.
So it was easier to do a compendium of just those to start out with, because that's the first compendium I've put together in design. That was a learning experience, I got to tell you. Great program though.
Oh yeah, I use it all the time.
I'm really glad that I took the time to start learning how InDesign went together, because that is one cool program. That program is super slick for laying out your books.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot of work. I forgot how much work it is.
Yeah, I mean, you can create yourself shortcuts to make it easier, but yeah, it is. It can be kind of daunting.
Yeah, when your book is, hundreds of pages, like my compendium is, at least my first compendium. There will be other Lakewood books come out later that have the other strips, but I'm actually collecting. I found a bunch of old scripts that were never illustrated, so I want to illustrate those for the next book and have them as kind of a bonus, like never before seen.
Cool
strips. But yeah, when the book is hundreds of pages, it's real hard to get those put together.
Oh yeah.
In a super efficient manner. Okay, so I think we've got about 10 minutes left.
Oh my God.
I know, crazy, right?
It's never gonna end.
Never gonna end? What? Because you're almost done, or?
I'm. Meh.
Yeah.
Guess I should keep working on it.
You can if you want. You don't have to.
I'm looking at how you draw your shadows and your highlights and stuff, and I'm just like, nope.
Which on mine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm very OCD about my lighting.
That's why it's so beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm from the School of Art of the chiaroscuro. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Of the what?
Chiaroscuro. It's the.
Oh yeah.
The light and the dark, and making sure that the light bounces right and plays.
Oh yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like that's my formal training right there, is the chiaroscuro. So, if I'm pronouncing it right, I'm probably botching it. All the art.
I always heard it chiaroscuro, but
chiaroscuro, yeah.
No, I'm always accused of being a fauvist.
Oh yeah.
Oh okay. Yeah. Because I'm like, colors? Oh. Put some purple in there.
Yay! This robot definitely does not look angry yet. This rivet.
Damned rivets.
I keep wanting to say like this rivet, as if it were a. I don't know, as if it were a frog. This rivet. Yeah, and in Destiny you can play as a robot. So I'm totally playing a robot in that game.
Yeah, you have to let me know how it is. I've heard good things. I've checked out a couple reviews.
Yeah, it's different. It's one of those, like, you kind of have to play it to sort of understand what it's trying to accomplish, because it's hard to describe.
Well, I got what was it called? Titanfall.
Oh yeah, that's pretty too.
And kind of played it,
never
but
got that one.
You know, it was fun because I got to actually play with a buddy of mine, which was actually a lot of fun. But I don't know. I just realized, like, I'm getting old. I'm slower than all these people.
With those twitchy. Yeah. I mean, Destiny's going to have some of that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's kind of turning me off about it, really, if there is anything, is just, like...
But it does have PvE and PvP, though. So
yeah.
you team up with your friends, and you go fight in the campaign. You don't just have to play PvP, which, I'm a big PvE guy.
Well, I am too, but I mean, the thing that always gets me about that is, like, all the good stuff comes from... Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with, like, WoW. I mean, I really enjoyed playing World of Warcraft, and I played for years, but I'm not into raids, and I'm not into, instances, because I pretty much soloed everything in the game. So I wasn't doing a lot of the in-game stuff. I never really got to do any of the in-game stuff because, one, I got kids, and so I can't be in the middle of a game and say, hey, kids, I can't change your diaper right now because I'm in the middle of a raid, it just doesn't, I don't know, it's always something that kind of...
Yeah, no, I understand exactly what you mean. In time management...
Because I've read those news stories, and I don't like those people.
Yeah, I have, I solo a lot of, like, I buy MMOs and then I solo them. I've been soloing Elder Scrolls Online for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got some guildies that I'll play with. I'm in some guilds, but I'm not considered a reliable guildie because, for me, working my job takes priority over online gaming. I know, heaven forbid, right? Or, for example, doing illustrations and doing this, like these streams, prepping for a live stream, to me is much more important than, and doing live streams is more important to me than video games. Yeah. So I love video games. Don't get me wrong.
Same here.
Minecraft. I have wasted more time playing Minecraft than probably any other video game. Oh, he's kind of cute. He's got his eyes close together. I wonder if I should make him like a Cylon.
Take a roll of Cylons.
Can you look at yours?
By your command.
I don't know. I don't know if he's horrified, so I'm trying to give him... Oh, horrified has small pupils, doesn't it? Yeah. So he's got to have, like, these just little horrified dots for eyes. Need to at least get some sort of emotion on this guy. The cartoonist in me. There's no escape. So as we wind down towards wrapping up, if there are any questions that people might have, yeah, I like how when I'm working on my Cintiq, my head drops below the camera view. Yeah, but if there are any questions that people have, feel free to post them now because we'll probably be wrapping up this collab stream here pretty soon, just so that way we're not, mumbling for 6 hours on these pieces, and then we'll show off what we have finished. And what the final pieces look like in the next stream, which I think I think that'll be a cool thing to do. Is if we leave off with where we left off, we were partway through blah blah blah, and then next time, previously on Pen and Stylus.
I still want to do what we talked about today.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
this is the next challenge.
I think that would be a fun challenge for the next time.
Yep.
Yeah, we're working on other challenges. We'll tell you in a bit, Jen. No, don't worry, Jen. You'll like it. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I was not paying attention, was I?
No, you were actually off. We were waiting for you to get online when we were talking.
Oh, okay. I'm innocent.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, we prep. We get together online earlier before the show, like the morning before, and chat about verifying topics we're going to be going over and stuff like that. So yeah, if people have specific topics they'd like us to talk about in shows, please feel free to drop us a line and let us know, and we will definitely consider them as at the very least as talking points.
Yeah.
For future streams and stuff, because this is really about not only motivating us to do stuff, but also to help teach people new skills and help people learn stuff.
Opportunity for us to try some of those skills too.
Yeah, and like for me, I've never painted in this manga studio before, so this is an interesting experience. I think that given a little bit of practice, I could probably learn to like this. It does kind of feel like Corel Painter a little. I haven't tried Sketchbook Pro's painting tools, so I'm not sure how it compares with those.
I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Kind of neat.
I'm definitely gonna have to try it out now. Now that I've seen the kind of the style that you're getting, Jen.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So let's see if there's. I'm not seeing any other questions really on the YouTube. People are just saying thanks for answering their current questions. Let's check the Twitters. No questions on the Twitters. Though thanks to the people who retweet it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So switching back, so Jen's working on the skull painting that she was doing because she already finished her other drawing, and then Ben is coloring, looking good on the color, man.
Cool.
And then I'm just being so slow on this rivet. Keep going back and reworking his face. See, this is the OCD in me. I'm always going back and I'm like, no, that just doesn't look right. And then I go back and I rework it. And I'm like, it still doesn't look right. And I go back and rework it again. I've had people accuse me. They're like, you never finish anything. Because they always see me like reworking a piece. It's like, I finish. It just takes me a long time. on some pieces. But Minions is not going to be one of those. Minions will actually be on a schedule. I'm just trying to settle on whether or not I want to do it as the toned version or if I want to do it as the straight black and white.
Yeah.
Because I like both. I'm looking at both styles and I'm like, I like them both.
That was the problem, is they both look really good and they both have kind of their own positives and negatives.
They both have their own character and they both have advantages and disadvantages to the design. The black and white version, definitely you see all the detail, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But the toned version, like, you see the lighting and you see the shadows and you see.
And you're into that, dude. So you may think about that
I know, that's the problem. I'm like, I love the shadows and the light. I love doing some of that stuff. And I figured out a way to do toning in Manga Studio that does not super time consuming. Because when it comes to color, like I'm so obsessive compulsive about my color choices and the color reflections and color balance that color just takes me absolutely forever. As, you know, if people are watching me do my piece, they'll see, you know, I've been messing with getting these greens because I'm trying to get this metallic sheen on the...
That's some orange streaks, maybe.
I might have to.
I mean, just real faint, just translucent, you know?
Yeah, I might do that as a you know, some like an overlay layer once I'm done with the base coat. That's a good idea. Thanks, Jenn.
Mm-hmm. So we have to have hit the hour mark, right?
Yeah, we've hit the hour mark at this point. We hit the hour mark just a couple minutes ago. So, any last thoughts before we wrap up this episode, guys? I mean, thanks to everybody who came and watched. You people are awesome.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
You folks are great. And thanks for asking questions. You know, it's really you guys asking questions and participating that makes this show a success. So, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, we're having fun doing it, and I think as long as we're having fun doing it, we're gonna, you know, keep doing it. So, you know, you guys, you know, being interested and you know, watching and listening and you know, commenting, I mean, that kind of keeps us going too. So
yeah, it motivates us to continue
absolutely
doing these shows and prepping these shows and sharing, you know, our vast amounts of knowledge, as it were, with the masses. Our education. All right, so just if people want to bring up the pieces as they are right now at the end of the stream.
Oops, that's not
Jenn
right.
finished hers. If you wanna bring yours up, Jenn. Okay,
yeah,
so,
I kind of don't know where I put it.
So here's Ben's, his postal hobbit, and then space cabbie,
yeah.
Facetious space cabbie.
I didn't push the space cabbie part enough, but
it's got my hat. It's fine. Okay.
I believe it was
okay, so Jenn's emo robot or robot. Oh, what's on the notebook? You wrote something in the notebook. I didn't notice that.
I did. Let's see if I can figure out the buttons here. Okay, hold on. Use
that zoom tool. Use that zoom tool.
Yeah, and then.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Okay, I see the last word is worse. I'm liking this so far.
It is. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Your diary today was the worst. I can't believe how much it sucked. Unbelievable. It couldn't have. That's awesome. All right, and then this is mine. For those who are interested. Still working on my metallic sheens. I'll save this one and I'll try and finish. I'll get this finished up before the next episode, cool. So that way people can see what the final piece looks like. I'll try not to spend too much time on it because these are really exercises and not big final pieces. But I'll probably put like another hour or two into it, another hour or something. But yeah, so we've got Jenn's Upside Down Robot, Ben's snarky hobbit, and then my robot in the forest. So anyways, thanks to everybody for coming and watching the stream. We really appreciate you guys coming out. It's been awesome so far. We really appreciate it. And so I've been Nathan Rackley, and that's been Ben Girven and Jenn Myers. And thank you for coming out and supporting us. We really appreciate it.
Get out.
Right. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye. Say bye, Jenn.
Well, I waved.
Oh, yeah, she would. In a minute. All right.
Take care, guys.